Okay, so on our quest to making this really awesome buggy, we'll just refer to this thing as a buggy from now on. Call it a bike, people get upset. Call it a car, they say, that's not a car. I don't know. Let's call it a buggy. I call it a bike. Let's call it a buggy. So on our quest to make this buggy even better than it already is, we received some new tender springs today. If you guys haven't seen the video on the Special Carriers Manufacturing suspension upgrade, my apologies, it will be coming out soon. So the factory tender spring, this is what the tender spring is right here. Can you guys see that? Hang on. See how that is fully compressed? So it's not doing us any good, right? So what we have is some new tender springs that we're going to put in there. Now these will compress down some, but nowhere near what that right there is. So that spring is actually going to help us on low speed crawling. This right now, only thing it does is when it get a full, if you jump the bike, it will help with the landing. This bike does not jump. This bike is low speed trail rig. So this is going to improve our slow speed ride comfort when we change that and get us some compression. Because right now this right here over big bumps does some of the work. And this right here is doing nothing. So we're going to change that spring out, which will in turn increase our ride height. So we are going to get us a measurement from there to the ground at this suspension. And then we will cycle the suspension a couple times. And once we get her tuned and get us another good measurement on that. So I need to put the camera down, get us a good measurement, make notes, take the shock off, measure the distance here, and try to get everything set back. If my calculations are correct, we should gain about 2 inches of overall ground clearance, all while improving the ride and comfort inside the buggy. So we will get back to you on the next step. One of the front shocks off, and you can tell without the weight of the bike, that's the spacing in our tender spring. So we measure from here to there. We're going to take this thing apart, put the new tender spring on, get the same measurement here, and see what she looks like. And then we got to figure out how to get it back on the bike. Could be challenging. So let's get this off and drop it down somehow and go from there. Okay, well, I got it off. This is the stock factory, and this is the RZR tender spring. Now, I don't think I won't be able to get that back on without going to the parts store and getting a spring compressor. But we're going to give it a shot. But look at the difference in height. So we'll put it on the bike and see what happens. Okay, just a quick update. There's no way I could have got that on there without this. Had to go buy it. McPherson Strut spring compressor. Hopefully that's the right thing. But it worked. My son had me scared, so those things were dangerous, but I got it done. And I may have to leave it on there to compress the spring again to get it on the bike, because it's fun getting that lined up. So I don't know. We're going to give that a shot and see what happens. Holy smokes. I got it on there though. We'll see what happens. Alright, so I got it done. The rear is almost loose, but the front, they lied. There goes the Dodge. You always say hello to the Dodge. The front, they lied. They said take this collar 2.5 inches in the instructions. I turned it down 2.5 inches from here, way too much. I had a hard time backing all the way back up, so I got 1.5 inches. I took a whole inch out of it. I still got way too much. I needed to drive it but now we got a lot of ground clearance. So we gained 4.5 inches in the rear and about 6 inches in the front. So I've got to turn these shocks down some more, but I need to drive it, let it settle. So I'm gonna run around the roads, let it settle a bit, and I may have to take some more out of the collar here. I've got a little bit more to go, and see how she rides. But it definitely raised it up. So when I get to 32s, I'll have crazy amount of ground clearance. I mean, right now we've got, if you go to the tab of the A-arm, I can't get in there holding the camera, I have to hold the tape. Dude, we've got, I measured a while ago, we had 17 inches from this tab right here to the ground. And when we started, we had 11 3/4. So, got a lot more ground clearance. We got to tune it and get it out of it. Need to drop it down to at least to where it's only a 2 or 3 inch gain. But I think the rear's going to ride fine, so we just got to get it a little fine tuning. We'll get her right. So the back was super easy. Front was a pain, but we got her done. Okay, see ya. All right, so the update is we just got back from a test ride, and we are now sitting at 16 inches of ground clearance. Holy smokes, we were at 13, I think, on the front. I got it written down somewhere. I told y'all before, I think. Anyway, so just a couple days later, we finally got it all done. Well, we done it all at one day. It was just too cold to ride, and yucky yesterday, so we rode it just now. Phenomenal job. So a lot of ground clearance, and as you can see here now, our springs are no longer compressed. See that? The front is a little bit more compressed than the rear. We actually need to raise the rear up. The rear is exactly on its factory setting, and so is the front, by the way. We put it back to the factory measurement from here to here. So we're going to crank this down a little bit more, because now our rear end is 3 inches lower than the front. So we're going to raise it up, because we rode about 20 miles on the road a while ago, and getting on it and cycling the suspension up and down, and the ride is phenomenal. Oh my gosh, the thing it's a different bike. Just rides so much better, handles the bumps better. So be anxious to see how it does in the woods. When we get them 32s on there, these are about a 30. We get the 32s on it, we're going to go from 16 to about 18 inches of clearance. This thing's going to clear some stuff. Now we could raise this up too. We could jack this on up, but we're not going to. We got a good drive line angle. Everything looks good, you know. So when the special carriers trailing arms come in, we'll put them on, and then we'll go through and do a whole nother alignment. Right now I kind of got everything zeroed out on the front, so it's driving good. I might do just a little bit of toe just a little bit just for street riding, but it's doing fine. Just do a little bit more fine tuning. We'll get her there. What we've done, we've built a hardcore off-road buggy with all these heim joints and stuff, so it's kind of affected our street capabilities a little bit, because now the bike's real sensitive, and she has a little bit of roll to it, and that's just from the heim joints playing. You see that's a heim joint right there, so it's just from them just rolling around a little bit, but it's not bad. It's very controllable. So there you go. RZR tender spring update. $220, I think, for those. Well worth every penny. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and we will see you on the next video. Give me a thumbs up if you like it. Leave me a comment in the bottom what you think about this killer street rod, mile grocery getter. which is also happens to be a really hardcore trail machine, getting her ready for Windrock. She will be Windrock capable with those 32 carnivores on there. Should be unstoppable. See ya.